Hello, gamers. So I just did my TOA yesterday. I streamed it. Um, Took me a little bit over an hour. Honestly, less time than it normally does, and that's kind of why I want to talk. I know there's a lot of hate for power creep in the tower and all that stuff, and I just want to give my take on what I think the power creep, how power creep is affecting, and like what the meta really is, just from a casual player. Uh, yeah, I was here trying to roll some echoes. It's not going too well. Not going too well. I'm trying to I'm trying to roll me a good crit rate Jue, right? So I can stop running crit fish Jinchi, but yeah, it's not going too well. I keep getting trash crit rate pieces with just abysmal crit damage that I don't think is worth. So I'll just yap for a little bit. So my opinion on the oh, I forgot you can just roll take stuff. So my opinion on the power creep in Wuwa is that it's 100% noticeable, 1000%. So my Jinchi is on Lustrous Razor, and I actually just put it on her this rotation, and that's why it was like probably the easiest TOA I've actually had in a long time, because I finally got Jinchi on a 5-star weapon. She's been running this almost since launch, because I didn't have one of these other blades. I forget what they're called. I've been running her on Redshift because I don't have. Is it a Dauntless? It's the Helios Clip. That's what it is. I didn't have one of these. I didn't get one of these on banner, off any banner, until probably Camellia, because that's the only other time I like really pulled on the weapon banner was during Camellia. So I genuinely just didn't have one of these for like 3 patches straight, and I was just running her on an R1 Redshift, right? And it was doable. It was doable. I've been 30-30 for like a month, right? Maybe like the patch after I pulled Jinchi, I was able to start clearing. With this weapon in particular, and without even having Jeji, right? I just pulled Jeji 2.0. I would say Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper definitely helped out, but I've done 30-30 clears without Shorekeeper. Mainly just using, Yinlin as a support. So I was basically just running like sub DPS coordinated attackers that didn't even buff my own elemental skill, without always, running a Shorekeeper in the team, and I was still clearing. But that last TOA, dude, not this one, but that last TOA was impossible. It felt almost impossible, right? Even running Shorekeeper, and even after pulling Jeji, right? Even after pulling Jeji, getting her ult to 9, her having some decent damage, and even running Shorekeeper with, the 255 ER. Jinchi could barely pulled through on this weapon, which is why I caved and I pulled Lustrious from the standard banner. Because power creep. Literal power creep. Even with two best in slot supports, the two best in slot supports currently in the game, my Jinchi just was not hitting hard enough because she didn't have a 5-star weapon, and her scaling, even with all the buffs that she's getting, just wasn't enough to carry. And that's like my take on power creep. I think Wuwa did a good take making weapons banners guaranteed, but weapons scale hard crazy hard. You look at some graphs, I probably have one in my gallery, but I'm not opening my gallery, right? Actually, you know what? So I have an old Jinshi clip screenshot, right? So signature having 118% compared to the weapon that I'm using that's not even registered on here. It's so fucking low, right? Red shift isn't even listed on here because it's so bad. Like imagine the power difference. I'm going from like a sub 80%, right? Sub 80% damage to a R1 signature doing 118. So if you're looking at that and you're thinking, you know, sub 80% all the way to 118, let's say that's 79, or let's call that 78, right? Just to be more mathematical. If you're going from 78 to 118, you are literally getting 50% more damage. That's how strong 5-star weapons are. You're literally getting 50% more damage off a signature weapon over running one of the standard 4-star weapons. That is crazy amount. And I'm already jumping 20+% to going to a standard one of the standard 5-star weapons, and you're doubling that for signature weapons. Those are crazy strong. So if you don't have, you know, best in slot supports or signature 5-star weapons, the meta in this game is pretty tough. The fact that this was my easiest TOA after I finally got Jinshi on a 5-star weapon and not even a signature is crazy.